Hey folks, welcome back. Today I'd like to talk about our latest release to the MM20 product line. This is the MM20 dual adjustable base. This comes in 7-foot and 8-foot heights. It comes in black or white. Also tapped holes or square holes. Now the dual adjustable base comes in 21 to 32 adjustability or 31 to 42 inch adjustability. Now that's in 1-inch increments. As well, it is UL listed as 2416, which means it has a 2,000 pound load rating and self-bonding. Now that I've opened everything, I want to show you what's inside the packaging. Of course, we have 4 of the mounting rail kits. We have 4 of the adjustable horizontal rail sets, 2 waterfalls, as well as 2 base angles. With that comes an installation kit for each rail, and you'll notice inside the adjustable horizontal rail set is also your installation nuts and bolts. So folks, this comes with a very easy to read instruction sheet, step by step. I'm just going to go over it real quick, not in full detail, but it's broken down into sub-assemblies, starting off with a waterfall. Very easy to do. All you're using is the 2 screws to put the separator plate on the back. You notice I've already taken the liberty to do that. It's 2 screws and that assembly is complete. Looking real quick, your next sub-assembly is very important because that is the depth of your rails. So you'll notice these rail systems here. You notice I highlighted one spot here. Set the desired rack depth. Sub-assembly will be 6 inches less than the final rack depth. So example, if you were building a 32-inch depth rack, you're going to build this sub-assembly rails to 26. And the reason is because your rails are 3 inches on each side. So that will account for the total depth. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to build the front 4-post rack and the rear 4-post separately. So you'll notice right this instruction, you're going to build this assembly. Moving on, you're going to build the opposite assembly. Then I'll show you how to assemble it all to one piece. As with all our Mighty Mo system, our rack unit numbering can be labeled at 0 at the bottom or 0 at the top. My row is going to have 45 at the top, so I want to make sure all my rails are aligned. Now that I have 45 at the top, I can start my assembly. Now I'm going to go ahead and build my overall depth. I want my overall depth with the rack rails to be 32 inches. As I mentioned before, these will be built 6 inches shorter than the overall depth. So I'm going to go ahead and build these to 26 inches. I'll take my hardware kit out, slide my rail into 2 pieces. And as I do that, I just want to show you one other thing. All Mighty Mo 20s are self-bonding. Just going to show you that feature one more time. So as you build this rack, it is self-bonding. Slide my rail back into place. That's where I'm going to measure out to 26 and perform my assembly. Okay, with the rail assemblies completed, I'm going to put these aside and work on my mounting rail assembly next. Alright, so with my mounting rail separated and my rack unit numbers oriented in the correct orientation, and now I'm going to put on my base. Again, with all Mighty Mo 20s, you can install traditionally with the foot out, but I can also install this with the foot turned in. It would look something like this. For now, I'm just going to mount it the traditional style. Take my speed nut, put it on the back side. As I tighten up my bolts, I want to make sure I'm square. And of course, because it's a self-bonding rack to UL 2416, if you look in the instruction sheets, you torque it to 12.5 foot-pounds. So double check each one, both sides for squareness. To complete my sub-assembly, I'm going to attach my waterfall using the same hardware kit with my bolt, washer, and speed nut. And to complete the waterfall, I'll use my square and my torque wrench and make sure I'm at 12.5 foot-pounds. With this sub-assembly completed, I'm going to put it aside and I'm going to duplicate this assembly with the other set of posts. So we've built our sub-assembly and we used a square in all 4 corners. We feel pretty comfortable if this is square. However, here's a little tech tip for you, right? You can take your tape measure, you can measure corner to corner just to make sure you are square. So that corner measures 80 and 15/16. If I go to the opposite corner, it should be the same. And it is 80 and 15/16. Next step, we've rotated this over so the back side is up. We're going to take our horizontal rail assembly and I'm going to install it to the top 2 holes using my new hardware kit bolt, lock washer, and speed nut. As I tighten up my final rail here, I'm going to keep these somewhat loose, and I'm going to take my top piece and install it on top. Okay, with all four corners hand tightened, I will then lift up this rack and make sure I'm square and plumb before I tighten everything up. I'm going to check all corners for level, make sure my rails are plumb, and fasten all the corners top and bottom. Okay, everything's plumb and square. I'm going to use my torque wrench and tighten up my last bolt. It's 12.5 foot-pounds. For additional information, please reach out to the product specialist team.